find the intercepts at each graph. So is it like just simply where the
I'm sorry, where are you at again, sir?
Let's go to page 196.
All right.
Number 9.
Oh yeah, so just look at the x-axis. Where does it hit the x-axis? It looks to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the x-intercept would be 4, 0. And the y-intercept is where it hits the y-axis, so you look at where it hits the y-axis.
It's just, I was overthinking.
So it's, yeah, exactly.
So it's 4.
They're just trying to do the same idea from different perspectives. So you really get an idea. The intercepts is where it hits that axis. So that's the point this is trying to make. It's easy, and you think there's more to it. That's it. Let's see. Okay. That was good. We needed a break to... I didn't know how much I needed a break, actually, to address some issues. We're going to finish out chapter 3 today. And there's one last idea in section 3.4 that we're going to talk about right now. And then we'll get into 3.5. This equation of a line. Well, we have a second equation of a line. What situation, this is really good, for example, if I say, what's the equation of a line? Just an example. With slope equal to 1/3 and y-intercept of 0, -1. Can you put together what that equation is? It's not too bad, right? Y equals 1/3 x minus 1. That's easy. That was easy because I gave you the slope and I gave you the y-intercept. Yeah.
The x wouldn't be 0 because of the 0 common. No.
X is supposed to be anything it wants to be. If x is 0, y better be -1. That's what that says. If x is 0, y better be -1. And since I put a -1 there, it will be, won't it? This doesn't say x must be 0 and y must be -1. Isn't there a y there? I didn't put a -1 here, did I?
No.
So x and y are supposed to be anything they want to be. But why is there a -1 here?
Because
that's what makes this work, right? And what makes that work, of course, that's just putting that right there. All right, is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Is this like the first ones on 3.4? Like, because you're given the slope, and then you're given 2 points. Is that like what that? Is that what we're doing here?
I'm building my way up to there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually, that's what this is. For where'd it go? Well, yeah, like number 21. Starting at number 21.
Sure. I was looking at 1, but either way.
Oh, 1's a little bit better because they give you the equations. 21 is where you have to come up with your own equation, right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly like the numbers, number 21 through 26. That's the one I just did.
Like 21.
Exactly. But we want to get to a point where we can be more general. The reason that this was a good choice of equation, well, right now it's because it's the only damn equation we've talked about. But it's because B is the y-intercept. What if I don't give you the y-intercept? There are 2 ways to handle this. I'm going to teach the second line equation, and then I'm going to show you a shortcut using this one. So if you know the shortcut using this one, just hang on. All right? I will show it to you. But I have to, as part of the curriculum, teach you the other line equation because it does have uses. Somebody have a question, sir? Okay. So the second equation of a line. I'm going to try to explain where it comes from. And that, of course, is where things get a little bit ugly sometimes, trying to explain where something comes from, but I'm hoping you guys can come along with me. What's the equation of the slope in general? What's the equation of the slope?
or y change.
Who remembers or who can tell me what this little 1 and 2, what do they really mean?
They represent which one is which point is which.
So there's specific points, right? Any subscript on something means it's a given thing. Somebody has to give it to you. Cool? But tell me this. The slope of a line, is it only work for certain given points, or is it any 2 points you pick? Shouldn't it be the same?
Any 2 points because of.
It should be any freaking 2 points. So if somebody gives me 1 point, x1, y1, couldn't the other point I pick be any other point? Doesn't it still have to be the same slope? If it wasn't the same slope, if it wasn't the same slope, what would happen to my line? If the slope suddenly changed, it's not straight anymore. So does it really matter which points I pick? No. So this is almost, from your perspective, I don't know what this is like. This is sort of huge. I can then rewrite this to be this. On one level, you're like, ooh, Jeff, you took the 2 away. Way to go. But what I'm saying is, does it matter what that second point is? Does it have to be a specific point? No, it could be any freaking point on that line. You guys with me? Any point, and I have a given point, it's got to have the same slope. If the slope is 5, it's got to be 5 between no matter what points I pick.
So it doesn't matter if the number work like is equals to that number. You just pick a random number.
Yeah, 2 distinct points, exactly. It's got to be 2 distinct points.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that
I
the
was
question?
just gonna say, but that x and y, that's the same point still, right? It's not like you can take an x from over here and a y from over
It's
here.
got to be on this line, a point, x, y together. Yes.
Yeah, but if there's like a third
But it
point.
can't be any x you want, any y you want.
Okay,
It's
that's
got to
what I
be
was
a
making
point on the line. Good
Okay.
question, but it's got to be a point on the line. You guys with me?
Yeah.
So does it have to be that one? No, it could be this one. It could be this one. It could be that one. Right? I don't care. Any of them have the same slope because it's a straight line. You with me? Okay. Saying that a lot today. So here's the silly thing. Let me see if you guys can take the next step. If I multiply both sides by this, the part that makes this ugly, the fractional part, right? Don't I get y minus y1? Those cancel. Equals m times, you can write, Jeff, there you go, x minus x1. Does that look familiar to anybody? Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Some of you guys have, some of you guys haven't. Look at what, this is better than this equation in one respect. I know some of you guys are like, that's not better, that looks ugly. But this, I can only plug directly into this, the y-intercept. Into this one, I can plug any point. The x piece goes here, the y piece goes there. Do you guys see that? What's the only thing I'm allowed to put here? Y-intercept. So if I didn't give you this y-intercept, you could not put it there. So let me give you a very simple example of an equation where I'd have to use that second equation, not this one. At least before I show you the shortcut. So here's the example. Find the equation of the line that, now right there, you're going to see a lot of problems that have this phrase. Find the equation of the line that. What 2 things do I need for any line? I definitely need
A slope and an intercept.
a slope, and I need a point, preferably the y-intercept, but I need any point.
So
right?
if you don't have the y-intercept, that's when you have like 2 different numbers. Like
That's when you have x1, y1, like the 0.23 or something. So find the equation of the line that goes through 1, 2, and 2, negative 3.
And that's when you fill it in that formula.
Exactly. So do you guys see why I can't use mx plus b directly? Do I have the y-intercept? Are either the points I've given you the y-intercept?
No.
How do you know they aren't?
No, it's 0.
There's no x0, right?
Oh, okay.
You only get a y-intercept when you have x equal to 0. 1, 2 is not going to be in the y-axis. It's going to be 1 over and 2 up. This is going to be 2 over and 3 down. That's not the y-intercept. That's not on the y-axis. So the reason I really want you guys to understand, if they say find the equation of the line that does stuff, and there's going to be a lot of stuff, you do these two things. It'll make it easier to focus. You need to get the slope. How do I get the slope?
Y2 minus Y1.
Exactly. So one problem I have is what's the slope? So you're going to use, they gave me 2 points. So y2 minus y1, is that cool? Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. So the slope is negative 5. Check. And I need a point. Well, I got plenty of points. Pick whichever one you want.
So is that when you just pick a number?
That's when you pick a point.
A point.
Sorry, I was writing on my paper. How in the world did you get 5 over 1?
y2 minus y1
Okay,
over
so
x2
you
minus x1. Yeah. Whenever you're given 2 points, that's the quickest way to find the slope.
Okay.
Right?
So,
Okay.
oh, never mind, go ahead.
So now you can. Which point do you want to pick?
Do you pick one of those numbers?
Yeah. You need a point that the line goes through. So think about this. To define a line, I need a starting point and a direction. You guys understand what I mean when I say that? So if I give you a starting point and a direction, that's a line. Cool? 2 points do that for me because in between them they do the direction. That's how we did the slope. We got between them, we got the slope. And then I got 2 freaking points. I can pick whichever one I want to, and we'll do both just to show you the answer comes out the same. It shouldn't care. They're both in the line equation shouldn't care which one you pick.
Oh, so we do either or? not
Either
both?
one, exactly. So I'm going to pick the point 1, 2 because it doesn't have a negative in it. We're going to do both of them anyway. So now I need to use this equation because it's got room for a whole point, not just b for a y-intercept, right? So this is y minus the y piece, and what's the y piece of my point?
2.
2. What's m? Negative 5. We figured it out, right? X minus the x piece of my point, 1. Now just to clean this up a little bit, you guys cool so far? Just a little tired?
Sorry.
That's all
So
right.
before you use that equation, you have to find the slope.
Exactly, because this equation
Okay.
requires the slope, doesn't it?
Oh,
I don't want to multiply m in there and have a bunch of mx's running around. That would suck. Bless you. I want as many numbers as I can plug into here. X and y are supposed to be variables, but I can plug in for x1, y1, and m. How do I clean this up a little bit? Yeah, in a minute, but then I can first do this, right? Negative 5x plus 5. Then I add 2, so I get y equals negative 5x plus 7. Anybody have a suggestion on how to check yourself?
You're counting the numbers.
Yeah, I can plug in 1, 2. When I plug in a 1, negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Sweet. Or 2, negative 3. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Plus 7 is negative 3. Sweet. They work. You can see that? So I know that at least those points work in there like they're supposed to. So what if I would have, instead of picking this point, what if I would have picked the other point? How would that look? Y minus negative 3, good, the y piece, equals m, negative 5, times x minus the x piece, 2. So y plus 3 equals, bring the negative 5 in. Is that cool? And then last step. Subtract 3, y equals negative 5x. Holy shit.
So when you fill in for that second equation, you don't need to use the y1, it's just y minus y2.
I'm sorry. Do it again. Sorry.
Point out.
This is y minus y1. And what's the y piece? 2. Yeah.
So
You only need 1 point. You can pick whichever point you want. And it shouldn't be a surprise. How many points does a line have? An infinite number. Any of them should give me the equation because they're all on the line. So I've got 2 points up there. Pick the one you like better.
when do you
Right.
know when to use which equation line? Or is it?
Here I knew that on one level I should use the y minus y1 because the other one requires me to know this, and this is the y-intercept. I don't have the y-intercept.
Right,
Do you see that?
yeah.
So if I have the y-intercept, sweet. I can use this one. There's less cleanup, right? I didn't have the y-intercept. Damn.
You can't just pick one?
Pick your own y-intercept?
Yeah.
Why is that a problem? You might pick the y-intercept 3, and you pick the y-intercept 7. There's supposed to be
But
one answer to
going
this.
through there, it says 1 and 2 and 2. You can't just pick 2 or negative 3 and what is in there?
Again, so watch this. Here's the point 1, 2. Here's the point 2, negative 3. Could the y-intercept be either one of those?
Okay, no, never mind, I get it.
The y-intercept,
'Cause it's not
it's
zero.
basically set up, the y-intercept has got to be up there. What do we get for the y-intercept?
7.
7. Look at that. Doesn't it look like it's going to be 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a really rough sketch, but it's going to be up there somewhere. 7 seems to make sense. So 2 points are going to point me in the direction of a y-intercept, and that's really what this work does. It says, what's the y-intercept got to be? To make them line up like that, it's got to be 7 in this case.
So to figure out 1, to start 3.4, is you would use the second equation.
If I'm given a point that's not the y-intercept, I need to use this y minus y1. Yeah,
And it's only the y-intercept. Sorry, when x is 0.
exactly.
So if they gave you 0.
If I would have been nice and said 0, negative 3, I could have put a negative 3 in there, and a negative 5 there, I would have been done. But I wasn't that nice, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
If you give the opposite, y number and x zero, which one are you?
Oh, if it was like 5, 0,
Yeah.
then you still have to use it because that's not the y-intercept. That's the x-intercept.
So
You still have to use this one. You're just going to put 0 in here, right? So any point that's not the y-intercept, you're going to need to use this equation. Because I've just made a decision not to show you the shortcut yet. Ha! I'm going to force you guys to use this one.
So when you, like, you just said, when you don't have the y-intercept, you use that.
Exactly. So if I said, find the equation of the line that going through the points 1, negative 7, and 0, 5. Which equation should I use?
Y minus y1.
So to use that one or the other one?
That one.
What do I have to be given in order to use this
You have the
one?
y-intercept.
Yeah, we know the y-intercept, don't we? What's b?
Slope.
5.
5.
So now,
All I need is the slope and I'm done.
so now how do you figure out the slope?
Exactly. When do I know it's the y-intercept? When x is 0. Cool. Would I be wrong if I use this one? No. It's just more work than you need. All right, let me show you real quick. Here, how do I get the slope? That's the one thing I don't know.
Change over y or whatever. The y2.
Let's see,
minus
negative
y1.
7 minus 5, is that cool? Over 1 minus 0, so I get negative 12. Is that cool? So what would the equation be then? Y equals m negative 12x, and what's b? 5, because that's the y-intercept, right? So if we do it this way, it better come out the same. Y minus, let's try this point here. Y minus, what's the y piece? Negative 7. M was negative 12. X minus the x piece, 1. So if I clean this up, bring this in, subtract the 7, am I going to end up in the same place? Yes, same place. Took me a lot longer, but it still works. So it's not crucial. You could use this one for every damn one of them. I would not recommend that because you keep adding more work than you really need. Right? But that would actually get you through all of them. This one is a special case. If you know the y-intercept, this one is set up for you. It's like, cool, man, there you go. Just plug it into B, you're done. How's that, Zed? Okay, sort of. Trying to keep my promise. I'll let you out early. It's a promise to you and me. So let me do some more complicated examples of this type of problem. All right? So you're not on your own in your homework.
There's one more still?
Yep. How you doing? All right. Yeah. I'm a little OCD, not ooh, with my clean boards. Find the equation of the line that
Same X intercept?
Yep.
I'm glad you do.
41? 41?
Yep. What two things do I need for the equation of any line?
Slope and point.
Slope and a point. I love it. Those of you who are able, and in fact this is true in general, I don't know if I've said this yet, the people that do really well in math are the people that are able to break problems into easier parts. Period. People that do that naturally get a head start in mathematics. People that learn that later can catch up. If you're able, and this is my attempt to show you how to break this problem into parts. You're first only concerned about how the hell do I get the slope. Well, this problem is nice. I told you the freaking slope. That's nice, right? So slope here is 1/8. Second part of the problem is how the hell do I get a point that my line goes through? And what do I tell you that relates to a point that our line goes through? Yeah, my line has the same x-intercept as this dude. So what is this guy going to tell me? What can I get from him? X-intercept, that's it. That's the only thing he's going to tell me. Yes, ma'am.
How'd you get it? Wait,
I haven't got it yet.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
But I know that's what I need to get. How do I get the x-intercept of anything?
Make y0.
Yep. So 2x minus 41 times 0. See, so everybody that was worried about that 41, you're like, oh my god, he put 41? That's why, because it dies. So I will, every now and again, I'll do that. Do the work. The part you worried about is gone. So don't go into a problem saying, I'm not going to do that. It's got a 41, and who cares? It died. Do the work and see what happens. So what do you get here?
2x.
2x equals 6, because the 41 times 0 is gone. X equals 3. So my point is 3, 0. So I got the slope, a point, and now I can plug and chug. Which equation do I need to use?
Y equals mx plus b.
The new one.
Oh no.
The new one, because I don't have what?
Y-intercept.
Y-intercept. I obviously have an x-intercept, but I need the y-intercept for b. I ain't got it.
6 is not the y-intercept. That's the x.
Definitely not. In fact, if you solve this for y, I don't care. What's the only thing this tells me? The x-intercept. Anything else you get from this means nothing.
Like, could you subtract the 2x and put it on the other side? And
You
minus
could.
all that?
It'd be a bunch of useless work. Well, I'm trying to make a point here, though, because this is the problem people get into. They see an equation of a line, and they do too much with it. What's the only thing this line tells me? The x-intercept. Didn't I already get that? Yes. So forget him. He's done. His usefulness is over. Right? So now I need to use this equation. What goes here? Y minus the y piece?
And it's not y2 minus y1. It's just
Yeah, we're past that now, right? It's the y because I want it to be the true variable. Not a specific thing, it's just
So
y.
just forget it. about
It's
the
just
y2.
y. Now it still has a place. I still want to be able to use m equals y2 minus y1.
Just in that equation.
But this is the equation of a line.
Now you get y minus 0.
0, good, the y piece is 0. What's
equals
m?
1/8
1/8
x, or just 1/8?
times x minus
3.
3, the y piece. I mean the x piece. This looks semi-ugly, but I'm almost done, right? Y minus 0 is y. 1/8 x minus, what's 1/8 times 3? 3/8. You can make an h up, there you go. Cool.
Oh, just times the top part of it.
Yep, because it's 3 over 1. Understood, yeah. Cool. How do we feel? So this is what I meant earlier by find the equation of the line that what comes after could be a lot of different things, but you focus your mind on I need a slope somehow, I need a point somehow, right? Sometimes they'll give you the point, you work out the slope. Sometimes they'll give you the slope, you work out the point, right? Sometimes you work out both of them. Okay. There's actually one last thing in this section. And actually part of it's really straightforward. What do you think is true about two parallel lines? They'll never meet. What's got to be true about?
They'll have the same points.
They can't have the same points, right? Same slope.
Yeah.
Because if one of them had a different slope, it would obviously run into the other one somewhere, right? So parallel lines.
Are there problems like that at 3.3?
Say again, sorry.
Are those problems that are like 3.3, or are they 3.4?
No, I think 3-4 is where they do parallel and perpendicular.
I think in 3.3 they.
Yeah.
Oh, and 3-3?
Yeah.
Oh crap, so I'm catching up, sorry.
No worries.
Thank you.
But cool, that way I can do the problems.
Yes, good. So in case you're doing 3-3 homework, I'm finally talking about parallel and perpendicular.
Okay.
Parallel lines, same slope. So, for example, y equals 4x minus 7, y equals 4x plus 3. Is that cool? Because the only difference between those two is the y-intercept. So one starts at -7, and the other one starts at